various method statement used in construction site.
Namaskar dosto. A method statement for external painting works outlines the procedures, safety measures, and materials needed for the job. It typically includes surface preparation, paint application, and safety precautions. The document ensures the painting work is done efficiently, safely, and according to specifications. Here's a breakdown of the key components. 1. Surface preparation. Cleaning. Remove all dirt, dust, grease, and loose particles from the surface. This may involve power washing, scraping, or sanding. Repair. Address any cracks, holes, or damaged areas using appropriate fillers or patching compounds. Surface evaluation. Ensure the surface is sound, stable, and dry before applying any paint. Hardware removal. Remove hardware, fixtures, and other items that may interfere with painting. Primer application. Apply a suitable primer to ensure proper adhesion and durability of the paint. Though paint application. Mixing. Thoroughly mix the paint according to the manufacturer's instructions. Application. Apply paint evenly, ensuring proper coverage and thickness. Drying time. Allow sufficient drying time between coats as per the paint manufacturer's recommendations. Number of coats. Apply the specified number of paint coats to achieve the desired finish and protection. Touch-ups. Address any imperfections or blemishes after each coat and before the final coat. 3. Safety precautions. Personal protective equipment, PPE. Provide and ensure the use of appropriate PPE, such as masks, gloves, and safety glasses. Ventilation. Ensure adequate ventilation, especially when working with paints and primers. Working at heights. If working at heights, use appropriate scaffolding or a suspended platform, ensuring safety harnesses and other necessary safety measures are in place. Toolbox talks. Conduct toolbox talks to inform workers about potential hazards and safety procedures. First aid. Ensure first aid facilities are available at the work site. Environmental protection. Take necessary precautions to prevent paint from contaminating the surrounding environment. Char quality control. Inspection requests. Submit inspection requests for each stage of the painting process for approval by the engineer. Final inspection. Conduct a final inspection to ensure the work meets the required standards and specifications. 5. Materials and equipment. Paint. Use approved paint types and colors. Primer. Use compatible primer as per the substrate and paint system. Tools. Provide necessary tools, including brushes, rollers, scrapers, and sanding equipment. Scaffolding platforms. Ensure appropriate scaffolding or suspended platform for working at heights. Safety equipment. Provide all necessary PPE and safety equipment. A method statement for internal painting works outlines the procedures, safety measures, and quality control steps involved in painting interior surfaces. It details the preparation, application, and finishing processes to ensure a high-quality, durable paint job. This includes removing obstacles, surface preparation, primer application, paint application, and quality checks. Here's a more detailed breakdown. 1. Scope of work. This section defines the specific areas to be painted, the types of surfaces, example walls, ceilings, trim, and the approved paint system, example water-based, oil-based, textured. 2. Responsibilities. Clearly outlines the roles and responsibilities of each team member, such as the site engineer, safety officer, and painters. Specifies who is responsible for reviewing specifications, inspecting work, and ensuring safety compliance. 3. Materials and equipment. Materials lists all required materials, including the approved paint, primer, fillers, thinners, and cleaning agents. Equipment details the necessary tools like brushes, rollers, spray guns, sandpaper, scrapers, ladders, scaffolding, and safety equipment. 4. Safety measures. Personal protective equipment, PPE. Specifies the required PPE for all personnel, including masks, gloves, and eye protection. Pre-start meetings outlines the need for pre-painting meetings to discuss safety procedures and job-specific requirements. Toolbox talks emphasizes the importance of regular toolbox talks to reinforce safety awareness and procedures. Working at height, if applicable, includes procedures for setting up and inspecting scaffolding or other access equipment. Fire prevention emphasizes the need to prevent fires by storing flammable materials properly and ensuring adequate ventilation. Waste disposal specifies proper disposal procedures for waste materials and empty containers. 5. Procedures. Surface preparation, cleaning, removing dust, dirt, grease, and other contaminants from the surfaces. Repairing imperfections, filling cracks and holes with appropriate fillers and sanding them smooth. Removing existing paint, removing loose or peeling paint from previously painted surfaces. Sanding surfaces to ensure proper adhesion of the new paint. Primer application. Applying a primer coat to prepare the surface for the final paint coats. Paint application. Applying the specified number of paint coats, allowing for proper drying time between coats. Ensuring even coverage and avoiding drips or runs. Using appropriate application techniques for the chosen paint type. Quality control. Inspection, regularly inspecting the work for defects and ensuring it meets the required standards. Adherence to manufacturer's guidelines, following the paint manufacturer's instructions for mixing, application, and drying times. 6. References. This section lists relevant documents like the project specifications, approved drawings, and manufacturer's product data sheets. A method statement for brickbat work, often part of a waterproofing system, outlines the process for laying brick bats to create a slope for drainage and subsequent waterproofing layers. The process typically involves surface preparation, laying brick bats with gaps for mortar, filling those gaps, and then applying a waterproofing layer. Curing is an essential step throughout the process. Here's a more detailed breakdown. 1. Surface preparation. Clean the surface thoroughly to remove any dirt, debris, or loose materials. Apply a primer coat of cement slurry to enhance adhesion. 2. Laying brick bats. Soak the brick bats, broken brick pieces, in water for a specified period, example 6 hours, before laying, according to a document on script. Lay the brick bats on the prepared surface, creating a desired slope for drainage, example 180 or as per drawings. Ensure consistent gaps between the brick bats for mortar filling. 3. Filling gaps. Use a cement mortar mix, example 1:4 cement to sand, to fill the gaps between the brick bats. Compact the mortar to eliminate air pockets. 4. Waterproofing layer. Apply a waterproofing layer, example a flexible fiberglass cloth and cement plaster, over the brick bat cover. Consider including a waterproofing compound in the mortar or as a separate layer. 5. Finishing and curing. Cure the entire surface by keeping it moist for a specified period, example, at least 7 days. Apply a finishing layer, example 20 mm thick cement plaster. Ensure proper slope, especially at haunches and around downpipes. Thoroughly inspect for cracks and address them appropriately. 6 Important considerations. Ensure proper slope for drainage and water runoff. Use specified materials and proportions, example, mortar mix, waterproofing admixtures. Consider the impact of weather conditions, example, hot and dry, and take necessary precautions, example, covering with wet gunny bags. Follow manufacturer recommendations for specific waterproofing products. Ensure proper curing throughout the process for optimal results. Let's discuss about Method Statement for Dado Tile Work. Outlines the procedures for installing tiles on walls. Typically up to a certain height, dado height, in rooms like bathrooms or kitchens. It includes surface preparation, tile selection, fixing, grouting, and finishing steps, with a focus on quality control and safety. This video explains how to do dado and floor tiling properly. Here's a more detailed breakdown. 1. Preparation. Surface assessment. Check the wall surface for plumb and right angles, especially at corners. Ensure the plaster is sound and free of defects. Material approval. Verify the quality of tiles, cement, sand, and adhesive against specifications and approved samples. Substrate preparation. Clean the surface thoroughly, removing any loose particles, dust, or grease. Repair any defects in the substrate. Waterproofing. If applicable, ensure any necessary waterproofing is completed before tiling. Level marking. Establish a datum level for the finished floor and transfer it to the walls for consistent dado height. Layout planning. Determine the tile layout, including any patterns or special cuts needed around fixtures. Safety precautions. Ensure proper scaffolding is in place for elevated work and that workers are equipped with appropriate PPE, personal protective equipment. Today we are discussing about a method statement for tile work outlines the procedures for installing tiles, ensuring proper preparation, installation, and finishing. It includes steps like surface preparation, material handling, setting out, tile installation, grouting, and cleaning, with a focus on achieving a level, even, and durable finish. The method statement should also address specific requirements for different tile types, e.g., ceramic, porcelain, and locations, e.g., walls, floors, wet areas. Here's a more detailed breakdown of the process. 1. Preparatory works. Material handling and storage. Ensure proper storage of tiles and adhesives, protecting them from damage and moisture. Substrate preparation. This involves cleaning the surface, ensuring it's level and plumb, and applying a primer if necessary. Setting out. Establish datum lines, reference points, and layout plans according to approved drawings. Material approvals. Obtain necessary approvals for all materials, including tiles, adhesives, and grouts. MEP clearance. Ensure all necessary mechanical, electrical, and plumbing (MEP) work is completed and approved before tiling commences. Though tile installation. Adhesive application. Apply the chosen adhesive, thinset or mortar, to the substrate using a notched trowel, following the manufacturer's instructions. Tile placement. Position tiles onto the adhesive bed, ensuring proper alignment, spacing, and level. Spacer usage. Use spacers to maintain consistent joint widths and alignment. Tapping and leveling. Gently tap the tiles with a rubber mallet to ensure proper adhesion and level, using a spirit level to check. Cutting and fitting. Cut tiles neatly to fit around obstacles, electrical outlets, and other fixtures, ensuring a close fit. Special considerations. Wet areas. Ensure proper drainage and slope in wet areas to prevent water pooling. Control joints. Incorporate control and expansion joints as required by the project specifications. Adjoining surfaces. Ensure a smooth transition between different flooring materials. Finishing and cleaning. Grouting. Apply grout to the joints, ensuring it is evenly distributed and fills the gaps. Grout removal. Remove excess grout from the tile surface with a damp sponge or cloth. Cleaning. Clean the tile surfaces thoroughly to remove any dust, debris, or grout residue. Protection. Protects the finished tiling from damage during subsequent construction activities. CHAR inspection and quality control. Regular inspections. Conduct regular inspections throughout the installation process to ensure compliance with specifications and quality standards. Final inspection. Perform a final inspection to verify that the tiling is level, plumb, and free of defects. Defective tiles. Remove and replace any defective tiles or those with hollow spots. A work method statement for AAC, autoclaved aerated concrete, block work outlines the procedures for safely and efficiently constructing walls using these lightweight concrete blocks. It typically includes details on material preparation, block laying techniques, jointing methods, and quality control measures. The statement ensures proper bonding, alignment, and curing, while also addressing safety precautions and adherence to project specifications. Key elements of an AAC block work method statement include 1. Material preparation. Block selection. Ensuring AAC blocks are sound, free from cracks, and have uniform dimensions. Mortar preparation. Mixing mortar with the correct proportions of cement, sand, and water as per manufacturer recommendations. Surface preparation. Preparing the concrete surface by cleaning, hacking, if necessary, and ensuring it is level and damp. Damp-proof cause, DPC. Ensuring proper installation of DPC on the ground floor to prevent moisture ingress. 2. Block laying. Setting out. Establishing accurate wall lines and reference points, benchmarks, DPC, to maintain proper layout. Laying the first course. Laying the first course with precision, using a string line and spirit level to ensure levelness and plumb. Subsequent courses. Laying subsequent courses, ensuring proper bond, example stretcher bond, and filling vertical joints with mortar. Joints. Maintaining consistent joint thickness, typically 3 to 5 mm, and ensuring vertical joints are fully filled with mortar. Openings. Providing openings for doors, windows, and other elements as per the architectural drawings. Curing. Applying water to the completed blockwork for curing, especially for cement-based mortars. 3. Connections and reinforcements. Bonding to existing structures, ensuring proper bonding between AAC block walls and other structural elements, columns, beams, slabs. Tying. Using steel ties or mortar to connect partition walls to main walls. Reinforcement. Incorporating reinforcement, example steel bars, XMET wire, as required by the design. 4. Quality control and safety. Regular inspections, conducting regular inspections to check for plumb, alignment, and other quality parameters. Safety precautions, ensuring workers wear appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, such as gloves, safety shoes, helmets, and safety glasses. Tool and equipment maintenance, ensuring all tools and equipment are in good working condition. Cutting blocks, using appropriate tools, example block cutting machine, for cutting blocks. Avoiding cracks, taking necessary precautions to avoid cracks in the blockwork. Handling blocks, ensuring proper handling and storage of AC blocks to prevent damage. 5. Specific considerations. Maximum daily height, limiting the height of blockwork laid per day to ensure stability and prevent collapse. Movement joints, providing movement joints as needed to accommodate expansion and contraction. Bond beam lintel, incorporating bond beams or lintels above openings as required. Manufacturer recommendations, following the recommendations of the AC block manufacturer.
Hello friends. Today we are discussing about method statement for gypsum plastering work. Method statement for plastering. How to install plaster. A method statement for gypsum plastering work outlines the procedures for preparing surfaces, mixing and applying gypsum plaster, and achieving a smooth, level finish. It includes steps for surface preparation, mixing the plaster, applying it in layers, and finishing, as well as safety precautions and quality checks. This video demonstrates the process of applying gypsum plaster on a wall. Here's a more detailed breakdown. 1. Surface preparation. Cleaning, remove loose particles, dirt, grease, and any foreign materials from the surface. Repairing, fill cracks and holes in the base plaster with appropriate filler. Checking, ensure the surface is plumb, level, and square. Check for undulations and remove them. Bonding agent, apply a bonding agent to improve plaster adhesion. 2. Mixing gypsum plaster. Ratio. Mix gypsum plaster with water according to the manufacturer's instructions, typically a ratio of 1:1.5 water, gypsum. Mixing. Use a clean bucket or tray and mix thoroughly with a puddle mixer or electric mixer to achieve a workable consistency. Setting. Ensure the plaster is used before it starts to set, and avoid remixing with water after the initial set. 3. Applying gypsum plaster. Dashing. Apply the plaster to the surface using a whipping motion, forcing it into any depressions for a strong bond. Level strips. Create level strips by joining dabs of plaster with a straightedge. Filling. Fill the space between level strips with plaster, working from bottom to top. Thickness. Ensure the plaster thickness is within the recommended range, example, 13 mm or less. 4. Finishing. Flattening. As the plaster stiffens, flatten the surface using a trowel or straightedge. Scarring. Use a sponge float and water to further smooth and level the surface. Finishing. Trowel the surface to achieve a smooth, matte finish. 5. Final steps. Cleaning. Remove excess plaster from electrical switch boxes, fan boxes, and the floor. Curing. Protect the finished plaster from moisture until it is completely dry. Inspection. Ensure the plaster is plumb, level, and free of defects. Safety precautions. PPE. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, such as gloves, safety glasses, and dust masks. Access. Ensure safe access to the work area, including ladders or scaffolding if necessary. Toolbox talks. Conduct toolbox talks to discuss safety hazards and procedures. Environmental. Take steps to minimize environmental impact during plastering.
Thank you.
Hello friends. Today we are discussing about method statement for gypsum plastering work. Method statement for plastering. How to install plaster. A method statement for gypsum plastering work outlines the procedures for preparing surfaces, mixing and applying gypsum plaster, and achieving a smooth, level finish. It includes steps for surface preparation, mixing the plaster, applying it in layers, and finishing, as well as safety precautions and quality checks. This video demonstrates the process of applying gypsum plaster on a wall. Here's a more detailed breakdown. 1. Surface preparation. Cleaning, remove loose particles, dirt, grease, and any foreign materials from the surface. Repairing, fill cracks and holes in the base plaster with appropriate filler. Checking, ensure the surface is plumb, level, and square. Check for undulations and remove them. Bonding agent, apply a bonding agent to improve plaster adhesion. 2. Mixing gypsum plaster. Ratio. Mix gypsum plaster with water according to the manufacturer's instructions, typically a ratio of 1:1.5 water, gypsum. Mixing. Use a clean bucket or tray and mix thoroughly with a puddle mixer or electric mixer to achieve a workable consistency. Setting. Ensure the plaster is used before it starts to set, and avoid remixing with water after the initial set. 3. Applying gypsum plaster. Dashing. Apply the plaster to the surface using a whipping motion, forcing it into any depressions for a strong bond. Level strips. Create level strips by joining dabs of plaster with a straightedge. Filling. Fill the space between level strips with plaster, working from bottom to top. Thickness. Ensure the plaster thickness is within the recommended range, example, 13 mm or less. 4. Finishing. Flattening. As the plaster stiffens, flatten the surface using a trowel or straightedge. Scarring. Use a sponge float and water to further smooth and level the surface. Finishing. Trowel the surface to achieve a smooth, matte finish. 5. Final steps. Cleaning. Remove excess plaster from electrical switch boxes, fan boxes, and the floor. Curing. Protect the finished plaster from moisture until it is completely dry. Inspection. Ensure the plaster is plumbed, level, and free of defects. Safety precautions. PPE. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE, such as gloves, safety glasses, and dust masks. Access. Ensure safe access to the work area, including ladders or scaffolding if necessary. Toolbox talks. Conduct toolbox talks to discuss safety hazards and procedures. Environmental. Take steps to minimize environmental impact during plastering.
Hello friends. Today we are discussing about the method statement for plastering vertical bar. How to install plaster. A method statement for plastering work outlines the procedures and safety precautions for applying plaster to surfaces. It typically includes surface preparation, mixing of plaster, application techniques, curing, and quality control measures. The goal is to ensure a smooth, durable, and well-adhered plaster finish. This video demonstrates the process of plastering a wall. Here's key aspects of a plastering method statement. 1. Surface preparation. Cleaning the surface to remove dust, loose materials, and contaminants. Removing any obstructions like form ties or other protrusions. Ensuring the surface is adequately level and true. Applying a bonding agent if required. 2. Mixing plaster. Using a mechanical mixer for consistent results. Maintaining the correct plaster to water ratio. Ensuring the mix is workable and free of lumps. 3. Application. Applying the plaster in layers, if required, with appropriate curing between coats. using tools like a trowel and float for smooth and even application. Checking for levelness and plumpness during application. Finishing the surface with a steel trowel to eliminate imperfections. 4. Curing. Protecting the plaster from drying out too quickly. Moistening the plaster with water for a specified period. And following are the major controls. 1. Quality control. Inspecting the work at various stages to ensure compliance with project specifications. Checking for proper bonding, levelness, and finish quality. Addressing any defects or imperfections promptly. 2. Safety. Providing scaffolding or access equipment as needed. Ensuring proper ventilation and lighting. Using appropriate personal protective equipment, PPE. Implementing measures to prevent slips, trips, and falls. Conducting toolbox talks before work begins. Hello friends. Today we are discussing about method statement in RCC construction work. General Reinforced Cement Concrete, RCC, work method of statement. A method statement is a document outlining the detailed procedures, methodologies, and safety measures for a specific construction activity, in this case, reinforced cement concrete, RCC, work. It ensures that the work is performed according to industry standards, regulations, and project specifications while prioritizing safety and quality. Here's a breakdown of the typical sections within a method statement for RCC work. 1. Project overview and details. Project name and location. Identify the specific project and its location. Description of the work. Briefly describe the RCC work involved. Example: footings, columns, beams, slabs. Project start and end dates. Duration. Specify the timeline for the RCC work. Relevant drawings and specifications. Reference the applicable drawings and specifications governing the RCC work. Permits and licenses. List any required permits or licenses for the RCC construction activity. 2. Resources. Materials. Detail the type and grade of concrete. Example: M25, M30, cement, aggregates, water, reinforcement steel. Example: Fe 415, binding wire, cover blocks, shuttering oil, and any admixtures to be used, including their storage and testing requirements. Equipment and tools. Specify the plant, equipment, and tools needed, including concrete pumps, vibrators, power trowels, surveying equipment, scaffolding, formwork materials, example: shuttering ply, MS shuttering, and hand tools. Manpower. Outline the required personnel, including skilled and unskilled labor, supervisors, engineers, and safety officers. Responsibilities. Clearly define the roles and responsibilities of key personnel involved in the RCC work, including project managers, construction managers, site engineers, QA/QC personnel, safety officers, and supervisors. 3. Work methodology and sequence. Pre-construction activities. Site clearance and leveling. Excavation to the required levels and dimensions. Laying of plain cement concrete, PCC, bed and its curing. Setting out and marking column structure locations as per drawing grids. Reinforcement work. Preparation of bar bending schedules, BBS, as per approved drawings. Cutting, bending, and fixing reinforcement steel, including proper storage and handling to prevent rust and damage. Ensuring correct lap lengths, spacing, and adequate concrete cover using spacer blocks. Highlighting and addressing areas of reinforcement congestion. Formwork installation. Fabrication and erection of formwork according to drawings and specifications, ensuring accuracy in dimensions, shape, and alignment. Application of shuttering oil to ensure easy removal and proper concrete finish. Ensuring watertight joints. Hi friends. Today's we are discussing about method statement outlines the steps and considerations for brickwork construction, ensuring quality, safety, and adherence to specifications. 1. Scope purpose. To build brickwork walls according to the architectural and engineering drawings and specifications, meeting the required line, level, and plumb requirements. 2. Materials and equipment. Bricks, sound, hard, well-burnt, uniform in size, shape, and color. They should produce a metallic ringing sound when struck together and have a minimum crushing strength of 3.5 nmm superscript 2 or 105 kilograms per square centimeter. They should not absorb more than 20% of their dry weight in water after 24 hours immersion. Bricks should be soaked before use. Cement, ordinary Portland cement conforming to IS 1-269. Sand, clean, sharp, and free from organic and foreign matter, conforming to IS 2116 specifications for masonry mortars. Water, clean and free from injurious amounts of deleterious materials. Mortar. Cements and mortar mixed according to the specified proportions, example 1:5 for full brick or more thick wall, 1:4 for half brick walls, and IS 2550-1981 Code of Practice. The mortar should be mixed on a clean, impervious platform. Tools and equipment. Trowels, brick, pointing, gauging. Spirit level. Line and pins. Plumb rule and bob. Brick hammer bolster. Measuring tape. Wheelbarrow or mortar pan. Scaffolding, as required. Safety equipment, hard hats, gloves, safety glasses, high visibility vests, safety footwear, dust masks, respirators. 3. Work method. Site preparation. Clear the area of debris and ensure a level and compacted ground surface for material storage. Mark the layout of the brickwork according to the drawings, establishing datum levels throughout. Ensure proper access and egress for material movement. For existing walls, thoroughly clean and wet the surface and rake the joints before starting new work. Mortar preparation. Measure cement and sand accurately and mix them dry on an impervious platform until a uniform color is achieved. Add water gradually and mix thoroughly to achieve a workable consistency. Only mix enough mortar for about 1 hour's work to avoid premature setting. Laying bricks. Thoroughly soak bricks in clean water for the required period before use. Lay a full bed of mortar along the foundation line. Place the first brick at the corner, buttering one end with mortar and gently pressing it into the mortar bed. Lay subsequent bricks, leaving a uniform 10 mm joint thickness. Ensure vertical joints in consecutive courses do not align. Use English bond unless specified otherwise. Use a spirit level and string line to check and maintain the horizontal and vertical alignment and plumpness of the wall. Fill the joints between the bricks properly, making sure no cavities are left. Rake the joints to a depth of 10 to 15 mm when the mortar is still green to provide a key for plastering or pointing, if required.